Welcome back to my series, Dance Moms Uncovered. Nia has often been viewed by fans as the underdog or the weakest link of the ALDC team. But today we're going to look at how she managed to become a beautiful dancer in the face of constant criticism and adversity. Because there was more to what Nia endured than the producers cared to show. Feel free to share your thoughts on the following evidence. First, let's look at isolation. An awesome Reddit user has been working hard scanning production documents. These notes were written by the producers, explaining what really happened while the cameras were rolling during season 1. These documents were used to help the editors find the clips they needed, and they are now available to read online. During the first competition of the show, it was noted that Nia and Holly were isolated away from the other team members in the dressing room. When Christy and Kelly were chatting at the bar, they said that they feel bad for them, because they thought Holly was worried that Nia was being left out. As the show progressed, Holly felt that Nia was kept invisible and that her strengths were not recognised. During season 5, Nia felt like her castmates turned against her. Nia was also uninvited from ALDC events around the time that Abby and Holly began to fight. Nia says that this was a really tough time for her on the show. Although season 5 showed some of her greatest moments, it also showed some of her most difficult moments.
I was frustrated in a way that you were not seen. Mm-hmm. It's almost in some ways that you become invisible and that you're almost like a backdrop for everyone else, or your strengths are not recognized.
Mm-hmm. During that time on the show, it was not a good time for me. I was going through some stuff. A lot of the people on the team turned against me, a lot of people against me during that time.
And her friend troubles weren't just on the show. Nia has explained that in the past, she had some friends who only pretended to be her friends because she was on a TV show. Both Mackenzie and Nia have admitted that they didn't really get much of a chance to make many friends outside of their group, due to the intense scheduling of the show.
I definitely think that some of the people that I used to hang out with, they kind of, they were excited that I was on a television show, and they weren't really there just to be friends with me. They were just friends because I was on a television show.
I didn't have a lot of friends, especially like when we were dancing. I didn't have a lot of friends because we had no life. We had no life. We were each other's friends, honestly, which is great, and we still are.
It was really sad.
But it's really sad. Like, we didn't know anyone else outside of each other.
Next, let's explore race issues in competitive dance. Nia says that it was really tough to be the only black dancer on the ALDC team for most of her time on the show. She says that both on and off the show, she did not run into many other competitive black dancers. This made her feel somewhat isolated from the other kids at competitions and conventions. Holly and Nia have pointed out that black dancers are usually considered strong and athletic, but not often described as beautiful or graceful. Holly declares that using different language to speak to dancers of different ethnic backgrounds is frustrating to her, especially when people say that Nia's good for a black dancer. Even though she looked up to a lot of the people she portrayed, only getting special parts that were based on her ethnicity really bothered Nia. She wished that she had the opportunity to have lead roles, like the other girls, that weren't based on the colour of her skin. She felt like people couldn't see who she was beyond her ethnicity.
If I had like a special role, it would be like Rosa Parks or Maya Angelou, which are amazing, great women that I would love to play. But after a certain point, it's like I don't always just have to be like the token black girl. I don't have to always be doing a dance about race. I can play other characters.
As a dancer, she would get typecast, and that was frustrating for Nia because she felt as though that people couldn't see beyond just her ethnicity.
Even something as simple as finding the right coloured tights and shoes that matched her skin tone was really tough for Nia. In the Mums podcast, Holly says that not a lot of thought or care went into making Nia's costumes. Melissa agreed with this, admitting that Maddie was given the best solo costumes. Nia has also spoken out about her infamous afro in the solo They Call Me Laquifa. She says that she had no issues wearing an afro, but it was the way it was being portrayed that was wrong.
Simple challenges like trying to find the right color tights that match your skin tone, the right type flesh colored shoes to match your skin tone, which was always a point of frustration for us.
Her costumes did not have the same level of care or thought. And
yes, I agree.
So it wasn't just me being in the moment, and I've also had other people say, yeah, you're right about that.
Maddie always got the best costume.
She did.
My dance teacher made me wear an afro for some dances, and it's like, okay, okay. And it's like, I have no problem wearing an afro, but the way that she was making me wear it wrong. It was just wrong.
Evidence number 3, misrepresentation. During her time on the show, Nia says she was made to look like she couldn't dance. She liked her solos, but felt like she wasn't pushed very hard and could do more than the choreography she was given. For instance, Nia could do a fullback scorpion, and that was never showcased on stage. She has revealed that it actually really hurt her when people said that she was just an okay dancer. She's had people tell her at conventions that they didn't realise that she was actually a good dancer.
Online and tweets and posts, and it's like, oh, Nia's okay, you know, like, she's not that great, but like, she's okay, she can dance. I don't think people realize like how hurtful that was, because I was capable of so much more than I did on that show. I would go to conventions or have privates with different teachers outside of my dance studio, and they would tell me, oh, I didn't realize how good you were. I can dance, guys.
I liked my solos from Dance Moms, but I feel like I always was able to do more than I was given on the show. I could have been pushed a little further with choreography or the theme of my dances.
For these reasons, and possibly others, Nia and Holly say that they would never want to go on another reality TV show that includes a lot of drama.
Would you or Holly ever do reality TV again? I would not.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what it is. Technically, like, Dancing with the Stars is a reality show, and I would love to do that. Like, there are some reality shows where I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely, but more like the cute ones and not like the ones that have a bunch of drama.
4. Toxic teaching. According to the production notes, even as early as episode 2, Nia was being singled out by Gianna and Abby. During rehearsals for the Electricity group dance, Abby told her that her feet were horrendous. Abby also criticised Nia's appearance when she told her that she was not allowed to wear braids because they looked like worms. She forced her to get them taken out, even though Nia really liked them before this comment was made.
I had braids on the show once, and my dance teacher told me that I wasn't allowed to have them because they were distracting, they looked ugly, and they basically like looked like worms, so I had to take them out and I wasn't allowed to have them. And here's me feeling good with my braids and my dance teacher telling me that.
As time went on, she received lots of negative comments from Dance Moms fans, repeating criticisms similar to those that Nia received from teachers on the show. Nia has claimed that Dance Moms was a negative and toxic environment for most of the 7 years that she was there. She believes that she could probably make a good dance teacher now, because she knows how not to act due to the behaviour of her teachers on the show.
I feel like Dance Moms was just really negative, and I feel like it was just such a toxic environment sometimes, most of the times. I feel like I would be a good teacher, not because I danced my whole life, but because I know what to not do as a teacher. I know what not to do as a teacher because of previous teachers.
Finally, we have advocating for herself. In the later years of the show, and after she left, Nia has had the chance to grow and advocate for herself. She says that dancing on the show became very negative and toxic, so she had to rediscover her love for dance on her own. Nia says that the girls would get very annoyed when they weren't treated well by their teachers. She admits that they rolled their eyes at them or had a bit of an attitude sometimes, because they were teenagers, and they felt that they deserved more respect for their hard work. Between the grueling filming schedule and all the dances they had to learn each week, they really had a lot of hard work cut out for them. Even though the teachers assumed that they would stay submissive, the girls eventually learned to advocate for themselves because they had had enough of the destructive criticism.
Dancing on the show was very toxic, so I had to really find that passion again for dance.
Whenever we became teenagers, teenagers were a little moody. So whenever someone says something mean, we might roll our eyes or something. Sometimes you would have a little tone in your voice, which is not good. We would get very annoyed whenever we weren't treated right. Our teachers would just say whatever and expect not anything in return. And once you get to a certain age, you're not gonna take that sort of stuff. It was really hard on us because we worked so hard and we knew what we deserved.
So what do you guys think? Do you think Nia deserves more credit for enduring 7 years in this critical environment? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.